So you guys will be handling the questions in the chat, I guess.
I will try to
Excellent.
do that.
Also, if you need to switch on for
We're
questions.
live on YouTube. And if you, I'll send you the link and we are live.
Also, if you need to switch on.
We're live on YouTube. And if you, okay, so the good news is that we are live on YouTube. The bad news is that taking a while to get used to YouTube. I've sent you a link. Please mute your YouTube button if you have opened YouTube and you're on the webinar. And let's see if we can get other people to join first. By the way, can you guys see the YouTube link?
No, I have already opened it.
Yes, we can see the YouTube link, right? You guys can see it?
Yep.
Excellent.
Yeah, Saurav, if you don't show your mobile phone, it'll be very helpful because, you know, this will be on YouTube forever. And like if you can move and we can start. Have you shared the link, Rod, with everyone?
Yeah, I've updated the link in that redirect and I'm sharing it all over the place.
Cool. This is our first YouTube live on YouTube. We have done Facebook lives before. This is our first YouTube live. The only casualty of this YouTube live is the mute that I have to do on YouTube now. But that's okay. We can begin in about 2 more minutes once we have a little bit more traction on YouTube, a little bit more people once they're on YouTube. But for some reason, I think YouTube is better than Facebook. YouTube video is better than Facebook.
Yeah, much better.
YouTube is the gold standard in streaming. Works
Yeah.
even on a 3G phones in the middle of Africa. So it's good. I'm happy we're on YouTube.
Yeah, I see better HD quality, video quality on YouTube, as opposed to a little lower quality, you know, on Facebook. For some reason, the Facebook quality wasn't this high. YouTube quality is better than Facebook, so I'm glad we have better quality here. I can't hear my voice, obviously. And by the way, we're planning to use StreamYard next time, so that this logo that you see, the Zoom logo, can be removed, and we could have our own logo. We have 6 people watching the stream. We'll wait for more people. Why don't we start the stream? And why don't we have David start with the demo of the newer features that we have this week. And once more people have joined, maybe we can have a conversation on questions and answers and our other weekly discussions. But let's start with the demo with David. So I think what we can do with this stream is that we will have a demo first, we'll have a discussion, and then we'll have affiliate discussion with Rod. Rod, are you ready with the slides and the platform to show? Perfect.
I've got the slides and I've got my screens ready.
Perfect. So we will move to David and Saurabh. I don't know why Saurabh moved. but we'll move to David and have him show um, the demo of the newer features available this week. David, why don't you take over now?
All right, sounds good. Let me just go and share my screen.
Just remove your mask since now.
Oh, all right. So let's see. So you can see my screen here, and you can see this video. And let's press play, and let me just expand it. So what is this new feature here? This is Australian compliance. So we're just going to play the, wow, that was quick. So let me go back to the beginning. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so first you click on set up your own organization. Then you put in the financial start date. Then you put in the book beginning date. And then you put in the tax registry. Then you put in the reporting currency. And then congratulations, you've set up your organization, has been successfully set up. Then you can explore the app first. Then we go to the company. Inside here, you can see the compliance settings. So then you can put the Australian business number. And then after you put in the Australian business number, you can put in the Australian company number. And then you can put in the BAS reporting method. So you have simpler reporting method and full reporting method. After you update that, you can see that the address is automatically set as AU. Of course, you can change that later on. Then we can go to settings and let's go to taxes. So inside here, you can see all the different types of taxes for Australia. And you can add a tax. So this is where you can add your tax group. So after clicking on that, you can put in the tax name, like tax group 1, for example. And then, of course, you can put in any description if you want to, or put in any other additional information. So, for example, you can put in GST, then you put in the description. Consolidated tax. Then you put in the tax code. So for example, TAXGP-0001, then you put in the type. Is it sales, purchase, or both? And then here's where you put in the tax components. So for example, you can do GST non-capital, GST capital purchases, and you can determine if it's pre-tax amount or post-tax amount based on what you require. So just here, and then, yep, here, and then you can see after tax, pre-tax or after tax amount, and then you can save it. Now let's go to, and there, yeah, you can see the consolidated taxes there. Now let's go to contacts. So just like any type of statutory requirement, inside contacts, some of the information will change based upon statutory requirements. So for example, we have a good old customer, Steve Smith. We're putting in the email address. And we're putting in the Australian company number, the address, and you set it up. Just quickly, I want to go back just quickly to here. You can see your Australian company number and Australian business number. Then, of course, you can put in all the addresses, all the information, put in the state. So you're just filling in the address information here. And then you save it and your company has been, your contact's been created. Then you can go to sell. Then inside here, you can click create invoice, click create quote, based upon what you require. So let's create an invoice. Let's add in that wonderful contact, Steve Smith. Let's add in a line item. And inside here, you can add in a product. So in the system, no matter if you're Australia or whatever, you can always create your contact or your product directly on the screen itself. You don't actually have to create it from the product or contact screen, as this person is doing with the iPhone 12 Pro Max, which is not tracked, which is kind of odd, but hey. So you put in the iPhone 12, you put in the quantity, you put in the unit price, and you can see here you have your GST 10%, and if you want to, you can add in your group tax here. So tax group 1 GST. And then you go up and you can save it. And you can see when you expand taxes, you have your 2 different tax types based upon the tax group. And then you save.
To add here, David, I think we can move on from Australian compliance because again, most of our Aussie customers won't be on the stream. So perfect. We have Australia compliance, and let's move on to the next thing.
Sure. Let's go to undeposited funds.
Yes. And we'll speak a little bit on cash accounting as well. Once we have done this, we'll speak on cash accounting as well. So let's talk about undeposited funds. That's a feature which actually relates to cash accounting. But this is the feature that you need for cash accounting. This is the feature we're building for our American and QuickBooks users. So please go ahead, David.
All right. So inside here, when you click on Get Paid, you now have a new option. So when you deposit to, you can deposit to your bank, cash, and now undeposited funds. After that, of course, you can select your payment type. For example, check, you can choose the date, input the check number. For example, 26, click next. And then you can then receive payment. You can see deposit to is undeposited funds. And then you can receive. Then you can close. Then we're just going to do one more. So for example, this one, Jack, we're going to click Get Paid. So you see this one's $214. We're clicking bank. We're clicking undeposited funds. Select the payment type. Check again and selecting the date. For example, 7, put in the check number and click next and then receive. Do undeposited funds, $214, you receive it, and then you can close it. All right. Yes, we received it. Correct. All right. Now next, let's go to accounting. Then inside here, you can click on deposits. And then inside here, you can create a deposit. So we click here, create, and you can do a bank deposit here into the screen. And then you can click on deposit. Yep, you can see the transactions here, your invoice number, payment date, reference number, and the amount. Then you can click deposit to, and you can click on bank. Then you can put in the reference number. So 2401. You select which transactions you want. So for example, invoice 6. And invoice 7. And you can see the payment totals now increased to 314, total amount 314, and they're saving it. Yep, so that's now been created. So you can see the 314 there for RP17. Next, let's go to bank. Now let's go and click on reconcile. So inside here, you can see the transaction, the 314 that's non-cleared over here. And now we're going to import a statement. Yes, import statement. And we're using this template. So you can see the transaction date, transaction amount, description, reference, check number. And when you click import statement, you can just drag and drop the file in there. So, or you can click browse to select the file. Yep. I mean, this is really cool. And then after that, you can see all your transactions here. So if you're not connected to the bank or directly to the bank itself, you can then import the statement by itself. So you don't have to worry about connecting every time. So after you import it, you can see the information here. I can then go and find a match. if it's matching at all, or just find match. And then I can change the from date, the to date, search, and find it. So now I have my transaction. I click on it. I click match. And now it's matched. Then after that, you'll go. Yeah, you see unclear deposits is now 0. You can click on next. And then you just see the record. Everything looks good. You click confirm. And then you can save it. So now you've reconciled the information. All right. So that's undeposited funds. You want to speak anything on cash accounting at all, or?
Yeah. So, hey guys, this is Saurabh. So about cash accounting, right? Uh, Cash accounting is, as Shashank pointed out, a subset of accrual, and
I'll speak on cash accounting. That's okay. I'll just speak on that. Is that everything else is done?
I know we have email and recurring
Just let's
sending
do
per
that.
invoice.
So then I'll speak on cash accounting. Don't worry.
Okay, sounds good. So we now have recurring invoice with Stripe, which I think is awesome. So before in the past,
Just before you progress, David, I just want to ask our users, and maybe you can unshare the screen for a second.
sure.
Um,
One second.
Essentially, there are in US, what's happening is Stripe is getting more and more traction, essentially becoming like a bank. And I think there is a news item today. I'm not sure if you saw that item, but it basically says that they're working with Goldman Sachs to have some digital banking in it. I was wondering how many of you use Stripe, and I think it's getting more and more critical to infrastructure, your infrastructure. So if you use Stripe, you're going to get more integration with Stripe. You're going to get more features from Stripe into the system, and it's going to be very interesting to see if Stripe continues to create these features, create these nice extensions for us to use. So digital banking is something they've just launched with Goldman Sachs, and we're thinking of using that in the system as part of our feature set. So if you like Stripe and if you want us to work with them even more closely, if you use Stripe or not use Stripe, just leave a comment and we'll come back to discussion on Stripe and why we think it's important. We have this one feature for recurring invoices and Stripe integration that I think will just show you, give you a good perspective of how we see Stripe as important to us. So just take a look at these features and leave a comment below if you're a US user, and we'll come back to cash accounting right after this. Over to you, David.
All right, so I'm just going to play this video. I think it's really, really cool because, so just to show you the process first, you have Roger Federer and he's buying a tennis racket. Big surprise. And then he's going to go here and he's going to save. And then usually after that, you click the 3 dots, then you can click email. And then after that, you click on the payment link. So insert payment link. And in the past, when you set recurring, you would recur the email every time, but you would not actually send out an email with the payment link every time. You'd have to do it manually. So this is what the process was. And you can see here, he's just putting in the, what's it called? The email, selecting the domain ad. And now you can see this is the email for Stripe. And you can see here, open the link in your browser for Stripe invoice for the payment. Now, after that, you can now set recurring. So you can set the recurring amount. You put in yearly, weekly, monthly, or custom based upon what your requirements are.
David, I don't think you've shared your screen.
Oh, I haven't shared my screen? Sorry.
Let's go all the way back and restart this. And now I think you're mute, David.
Hi, so inside here, you're just creating your invoice. After you create the invoice, you click the three dots. You can click email. And then inside here, you can see the subject. You can send a copy to myself. And you can insert a payment link. So after that, you can click send. And now we're just going to go see the email that was sent out. So you're just inputting the email address. Add now, and then inside here, you can go and click on the invoice, and then you can see the payment link down here. Click here to pay or open the link in your browser. After that, you can click the three dots. You can set as recurring. And inside here, you set recurring. You can set as yearly, monthly, weekly, or custom. So, and after that, you set the first date. And then you set the ending date. Or you can also select never end, so it goes on for eternity. So for example, the 15th. And inside here, you can put up the email. You put in the email address. That will be automatically sent to the person. So for example, we're sending this email every week to Roger Federer automatically. You no longer have to create the invoice. You know, the recurring invoice would just create the invoice, but then you would have to go and then click the mail and send every time. You don't have to do that anymore. Now it's recurring, so, which is pretty cool. So every week, it'll automatically send another invoice, an email with that payment link to that customer. So you never have to do it manually, which I think is, again, I think is pretty cool. I think people would like that as well. All right. So those are the new features that Discara has.
Cool. Are we going to show a simple demo as well, just to recap all of the features and kind of quickly show a 5-minute or 10-minute demo, and then we come back to.
Okay, sure. I definitely can do that. I just didn't know if you wanted to talk about cash payment first or not.
Yeah, so just start the demo, and then we will plug cash and see and show what it means and how we are doing it. But let's start with a simple demo.
All right. So here's the dashboard, Discara all-in-one dashboard. So you can see the Discara books, invoices, age receivable, bank accounts, your won and lost deals, your pipeline view, your contacts report, expense claims, payroll, and leaves per month. So you have all your information on this screen, which I think is pretty great. But how is this information being populated? If you click on this, you can see we have Discara books, Discara CRM, and Discara people. So the information is being generated from here. So let's go to Discara books. So inside Discara books, you can see the dashboard. I can see my invoices, my age receivables, excuse me, my bills, my bank account, my net cash flow, my profit and loss. So in here also, I can click on the company. I can click on the new organization. So inside here, when I click on new organization, I can put my organization name, my financial year start date, my book beginning date, my tax registry, and select my currency. So this information here will allow you to, so financial year date, start date, it can be the same as your calendar date. It can be the same, or it can be different. I've seen it also on April. I've seen it in October. And book beginning date, this is your go live date. So this is when you're actually going to go live in the system. So everything before this is your openings, your opening products, your opening chart of accounts, the opening amount, any opening invoices and opening bills. And your tax registry important is because that it's based upon your statutory requirements. So like for Australia, you have to put in Australia in for the tax registry to come up. So for example, if I type in United States of America, then the statutory compliances for America will populate. Next, let's go to buy. So inside here, this is where you can buy your transactions. I can create a new order, bill, or new expense bill. So inside here, this is where you can select your contacts. And instead of line items, this is where you can select your account. Now let me just create a new order. Let me add a contact. Let's see. John's Computers. Let me add a line item here. So for example, Apple Computer, I can hover over and see available quantity. I can see I have 10 quantity available. Maybe I'll buy 10 more. Any discounts that are required, and I can save. We also have order date, due date. We have custom number formatting. So this is where you can put in, for example, the prefix, separator, display digits, separator, and any suffix, for example. And I can save.
So we will just take a pause here and maybe speak about cash accounting. Now, what happens here is, if you could just unshare your, David, just unshare your screen whenever yeah, cool. So cash accounting is where you see the reports differently. All these transactions that you see right now are the same. So in cash accounting, the transactions of accrual accounting are the same. Nothing changes. So what you saw right now, what David showed you, you have the same interface for cash accounting. The only thing that changes are the reports. Reports for GST are different because GST is calculated on the invoice. It's not calculated on the cash collected. So we had this option for the countries that we are in. For the countries that we are going in now, like US, cash accounting is key, and we will just add that portion, the reports, into it, and we'll be compliant. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we'll have cash accounting up and ready. Back to you, David.
All right, so let me share my screen again. Let me go here. Okay. So inside here, we have our order number where we can choose it. We can create a custom number format. Global custom field. So this is where your global custom fields are. So I can put in the supplier code. If there is any projects like project A or B, any outlets, any custom field that I've created. We also have multi-currency options. So this is where I can select the currency. So for example, we have United States currency. I can select Euro, for example, and I can change it directly on the screen. And I can update the currency. I can add attachments, memo, and I can set recurring here as well. Recurring isn't monthly, weekly, custom, yearly, first document date, ending date, or never ends. That's what we showed in the video. And I can save. Yes. Save. 1 second. What's going on? Yep. There's my running number. All right, just selecting the Apple computer. Quantity. Any discount, and saving. All right, so I can see Johnny Electronics is here, not received bill. Now I can click on the 3 dots and receive the goods here. So inside here, I can decide the receiving date, the required quantity, receiving quantity, and which warehouse it goes to. But if I only have one warehouse, then it doesn't really make sense. I can just click on bill, and I can auto convert or convert only. So convert only will make it a bill. Convert and auto receive will mean it'll convert and I'll auto receive the goods. Now I've converted and I auto received, and then I can pay. So if I click here, pay, I can choose pay from and which bank. So for example, maybe Bank of America, the payment type, bank transfer. I can choose the date. I can choose the reference number. Go next, and I can pay it here. And I can print out the document here as well. Next, under sell, I can go here and create a quote or an invoice. Let me just create an invoice. I can add the contact. For example, Austin Circuits, I can add in the line item here. Apple Computer, I can hover over and see the available quantity. So maybe I want to buy 10. Any discounts, again, I can have a custom number format, global custom fields, multi-currency option, or set as recurring. Let me just set this one as 0. There we go. I can update the currency to whatever I'd like and save. Now you'll notice something new here. Inside here, we have the import option that we showed you last week. It is here finally. We have it. So this is where you can download the sample template. Let me open this up. And then you can go and share it. 1 second. Oh, get started. Okay, if you have Excel, you can go and download it and then input the information and then drop it down here for uploading. We also have the invoice reminder. So inside here, we can decide how we want to be reminded. So I can enable invoice reminder. I can set 1 day before due date, 2 dates, and I can decide which ones I want. Change the number to however I'd like it. And after due date, how I want to be updated. 7 days after due date, repeat 30 days. Repeat 30 days for 3 times total. I can set it all up here. So I can annoy my customers to death by continually hitting them. Pay me, pay me, pay me, pay me, to however I'd like. Okay, so next, let's go here and click on the 3 dots and click Fulfill. So inside here, we have 3 different methods. We have direct fulfillment, pick, pack, ship, and drop ship. So direct fulfillment is the same like buy. You saw there we selected the receiving date, we select which warehouse it goes, and decide how much quantity. We have pick, pack, ship. This is where we can pick the goods, pack them up, and ship them out. And we have drop ship. So inside here, this is where I can get an order from my customer. Then I place an order with my vendor, and the vendor will send the goods directly off to my customer. So this is all for recording purposes, and you can determine how you want to do it. So I'm just going to click fulfillment, and then I can confirm it here. Next, we can click Get Paid. And just to show you, like with Stripe that we were talking about earlier, this is where you have your email. And this is where I can insert my payment link. So let's click Get Paid. I can see the currency. I can change the currency here based upon my requirements. So for example, if I want it to be USD, I can select USD here. You can see my banks change based upon my currency. Like I want Bank of America. Actually, let's do Wells Fargo. Select the payment type, check, bank, or card. Ooh, we have card now. That's something new. No one told me about this.
Nice.
When did this come in? Why didn't you tell me? Okay, then you can put in the reference number here.
So this is the problem with the fast developing system. We have features coming in every week, and forget about customers, forget about our users, even our own salespeople or support people take time to run it and review it and execute it. So yeah, this is the other side of adding features very quickly. Yeah, please go ahead.
Very true. But yeah, so this is cool. We got card. We put in the reference number. We click next. I can see the exchange rate here, and I can update the exchange rate based upon my requirements. Because of course, the bank is not going to let you dictate to them what the exchange rate is, no matter how hard you try. You have the amount here, and then I can receive it. So I can see the information, I can print, and I can close. Next, let's quickly just go to contacts. So inside here, we have the import information. And of course, we can create a new contact here. You can put in the name. Email address, tax number. This information, of course, will change based upon your statutory requirements or so based upon what you've selected there. So for example, in the US, you have your tax number. My accounting information, so this is accounts payable, accounts receivable, tax exemption, and the address. And you can see the address automatically pops up based upon what you type in here. And then, of course, you can save it. Oh, also, you can set invoice reminders. Oh, okay. Enable, yes.
Why do we have 3 screens? Why can't it just be just one screen and done? Like you have to click again and again. So that was a question asked.
Well, it's based upon people and what they like. I mean, for me, I like the segregation. I don't want to just scroll down to a million fields and try to put in because it tends to be very, very cluttered. And I find it somewhat confusing. Well, other people like everything in one screen and then they can input it in there. I guess it's just based upon different preferences. Any specific reason, Saurabh, that it's 3 screens? For me personally, I like the 3 tabs and I can see where exactly.
There is no specific reason, just that I thought, it was better UI. Some people prefer A, some people prefer B. There's no one answer. But B, if you want everything in one screen, I think we can do that as well. But we'll have an option soon.
Okay. Just 1 second, Saurabh. Low power. Do you know where the charger is?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I don't want to get disconnected because no power, as they say. While they're looking for that, let's continue on. So this is the contacts here. And let's go to products. So inside products, you can see all your information. Let me click, and of course, you have your import function. We have import functions for our contacts, our products. Now for our invoices, our journal entries, our opening balances, our chart of accounts. So that way you don't have to manually type it in because we're not evil people and want to torture our customers to death. So these are all great functions here. Next, we have our product. This is where you can add an image, and we have 3 different types. We have non-tracked, tracked, and bill of materials. So what the heck is a non-tracked product? A non-tracked product is a service. You can think of it like a service, like aircon repairman, a
Then
gardener.
why not call it a service? Why do you have to call it non-tracked? Just call it service. If it's service, just call it service. Why are you calling it non-tracked? Why is it so complicated, right? Call it service.
You can also, I guess, have products that you just don't want to keep track of, like, for example, coffee mugs with your wonderful company name. That
Then call it non-track / service.
yeah,
Make it
that would
easier,
work.
right? You have to. You mentioned it's service every time you show this feature, and I've been noticing this.
Oh yeah.
Just have a / service there. Leave a note with UX people to add just / service there.
Yeah. Because truly, mostly, I would say a large amount of non-track products is service. I mean, like I always say in all these wonderful webinars, my sister's a CPA, and she goes out and does external audits, and she's charged by the hour. That's of course non-tracked. People that go and do support, non-tracked if they charge a certain sort of fee for it. So that's a non-tracked product in my eyes. So aircon repairman, gardener, electrician, plumber. Let's see. And then under here, we have the accounting information for non-track. This is where you have your purchases. You put in your purchase price. So this is the default purchase price. This is the default sales price. And this is your purchase account, sales account. Is it taxable? And your sales return account and purchase return account. And under inventory, this is your unit of measurement. So for example, it may be, for example, hours. Of course, you can add in your own new UOM here. Next, let's go to track products. So inside here, I can do track products. You can think of it like a laptop. And inside here, you can put in your accounting information. You see it's exactly the same as the previous non-track. But inventory, you'll notice some new information here. This is where you have your cost of goods sold, inventory, and inventory adjustment. The reason for this is that we were perpetual, not periodic. So what the heck is perpetual? Perpetual means that a journal entry is posted when I receive the goods and when I send out the goods. So that way you can see your balance sheet and your profit and loss in real time. You also have your opening quantity and opening valuation and your warehouse here. Oh, and most importantly, we have enable advanced tracking. So this is where you can do your batch tracking and serial tracking or serial number. So you can determine, is it batch tracked or serial number based upon your requirements. And finally, we have bill of materials. So in bill of materials, you can think of it like a desktop computer where you have your memory, your motherboard, your CPU, and all this other information, or what I've been using recently, chicken soup. You know, like you have your chicken broth, you have your chicken, you have your noodles, you have your carrots, your celery, you put them all in there, boil them on up. You need all these components to make your product. Under accounting, it's all the same information. Under inventory, you'll notice this is manufacturing account. What is this account for? It's for the cost of when you assemble it. A journal entry posted when you assemble the product. And under bill of materials, this is where you can put in your components, such as, for example, a monitor, a mouse, keyboard, and you have your quantity. You also have your additional costs. So for example, you have your assembly, and I can put in the amount, and I can put in the different.
I'm not sure.
Sorry about that. I can put in the subtotal and the amount. I can add in additional costs here based upon what is required. All right. Let me go back here and let me change this to attract and batch. Yes, save. Yes, go to tract. So inside here, this is where you can assign your batch numbers and the quantity based upon how much you have in there. And I can see it here. Now for your bill of materials, I can assemble, build assembly here, the number of products, and I can see how many I can assemble here as well inside the system. Just quickly to go to accounts, this is where you have your chart of accounts. In the system, this is where you can add, import, export. And I can select my type here. So for example, if I want to select the bank, I can select the name, such as, let's see, what's a good bank? Maybe, let's see, Western Union. And I can select the currency here based upon my requirements. I can also select, for example, cost of goods sold. I can put in the code here. The item may be COGS, and I maybe want to track my shirts in a different account. And any taxes here as well. We also have the import function up here. We have journal entries. So this is where I can see all my journal entries and I can expand the records. And we have the import function. This is where I can import my journal entries and my fund transfers. If I've created a journal entry, I'm able to click on the three dots and I can set it as recurring if I want to. We have our opening balances. So this is where you can input your opening balances for your accounts, inventory, and this is where you can create your opening sales invoice and your opening bills. And this is where you can import the information as well. They all have the import function here. We have our debit note, credit note. Under expenses, we have our direct expense and prepayment. And under deposit, we have our direct deposit and advance payment. Just quickly, I want to go to the apps because not only do we have, for example, Stripe, we also have Veeam. So from Veeam, this is where you can receive your payment, like purchase invoice. So I can send out my purchase invoice here, and I can send out my sales invoice. But please take note, Veeam only works if your base currency is USD. We also have PayPal. So inside here, you can go and see your sales invoices. So I can go here to invoices. And this is where I can send out my invoices and I can see my PayPal invoices here. And I can see the total amount. And I can click here, pay. Just quickly, we have WooCommerce, we have UPS, FedEx, we have the stock transfer, stock adjustment. So here I can go and track my orders inside here for FedEx and UPS. So for example,
Nice.
here, and I can go and add action, show tracking, add tracking number here as well. UPS FedEx, submit, show. So I can see here, this was delivered at 9:58 March 6th in Beverly Hills. I can see delivered, en route, and accepted in 2001. Wow, okay. And of course we have Zapier. All right, so let's go quickly to banks. So inside here, this is where you connect with your bank account. I can click on the three dots and connect. So for example, if I click here and click connect, we have two different types right now. Oops, pencil, wrong one. Let me connect because they've removed that bank. And we have two types, Plaid and Salt Edge. So inside here, I can click on Plaid. I can see my different bank accounts here. And if I can't find it there, I can go to Salt Edge. And I can type in, for example, if I type in United States, I can see all the different United States banks. And I believe, what's it called? Q1 2021, we're going to connect to Yodlee. Q1 2021, we're connecting to Yodlee. Yeah, sometime during that time we'll connect there. So we'll even have more banks for you to connect. Now we have the reports. You can see your profit and loss report. You can have your balance sheet, see all that wonderful information. Of course, your general ledger, trial balance, your bank reconciliation summary. Oh, wow, okay. Your statement accounts and your statement accounts vendor. That's a new report, okay. So I can see the information here. So my statement accounts for my vendor here. Very cool. We, of course, have our statutory requirement reports. So based upon which country, you'll see this differently. I can see my different purchases, like my accounts payable, my accounts receivable, and I have my inventory reports like stock availability by warehouse. I can see how much stock I have for each item. I can expand and see which warehouse it's in. Like Houston has 9, Austin has 1. I can see my stock aging report. So I can see very simply my keyboards are aging for a long time, over 120 days. That's not good. And I can filter out by warehouse. So is my Houston warehouse containing all this? Yes. So I got to find out why this is there. And that's reports. Do we have any questions on books before I move on to CRM? Oh, okay. So I'll just go on to CRM then. So you click here and I can click on Disquera Sales or Disquera CRM. And inside here, I can see my information. I can see last week. I can click here and see last 6 months. I can see any upcoming activities. I can see my deal stages, my deals won and lost, my campaigns, and any tickets. Now inside here, we have our settings. So this is where I can set up my user. Key thing here is team settings. This is where I can decide on view, because when you select your contacts and deals, you can decide visibility. Is it based upon private, team, or can everyone see it? We have our custom fields. So inside here, just like in Disquera books, so exactly the same thing in Disquera books, we have different custom fields. So inside here, we have our number, text, and drop down. I can put in the maximum length. So for example, remarks, maybe I want the length to be 100. I can say size of shop floor. Maybe I'm selling PPE, for example. And that way I can input a number here, decimal position, and have the number of people in the shop floor. And finally, we have drop down. So I can think of it as food type or department or different areas. Maybe like I want to know if this person is part of the sales department. Is he part of the management, sales? Is he part of finance? Is this person? Or is he, what's it called? The CEO, for example. And I can go here and I can add. Next, we have the modules we can create this in. We can create this in contact and deals as well. We have our guides where we can create our different guides. So you can see here, electronics.disquera.com. I can see my awards. I can see my FAQs if I have any. We have our tickets. So this is where you can add your support email and connect. So if I click here, you can see email address, user ID, password. And this is where you put in your incoming mail, your IMAP, and your outgoing mail, SMTP, and allow non-secure certificates. Just if you want to know, powered by Disquera. So this is where I can remove the logo powered by Disquera if you want. You just have to activate this. All right, so let's go to services first. Actually, no, let's go to contacts. Contacts, yes. So inside contacts, I can see all my different contacts here. I can see any open deals, the owner, the phone number, visibility, and label. I can click on the card view, and I can see all the different companies and organizations. If I click on organizations, click on card view, I can just hover over and see the different people that are part of this organization here. I can create and also import. So when you create a contact, you can click here and you have a choice. Is it a person or organization? I can type in the name, such as, let's see, Happy Days, DTE, LTD. And then I can select the people, Jimmy Go, and I can select as many people as I'd like. Rick Ryan, Mikey. I can put in the label. Is it a cold, warm, or hot lead? Email address, any owner, sub-owner. So we have one owner here, but I can select multiple sub-owners. So for example, Stacy Williams, Anna Martinez. And then I have my custom fields here. I can also import my contacts as well. Next, let's go to guides. So inside here, this is where I can go and add guides. I can go add sections and articles. So you may have different types of articles based upon your requirements. You may have, for example, awards, announcements, FAQ, your frequently asked questions. And this, oops, what's going on here? And this is good because one thing is you don't want to be bogged down with frequently asked questions. With an FAQ place, people can actually go there, find out the answers on their own, read about what's going on, and be able to help themselves figure it out instead of always contacting you for every little information. So this can help save time and effort and increase productivity, hopefully. We also have our articles here. So this is where you can go and create your articles. You can go and make the bold, italicized, underline, strike through, indent, bullets, numbers. You can change the font size, add any links, break the link, and add in images. So you just put in all the text based on what you required. And then you can go choose visibility. Can everyone see this? Is it only signed in user? Which section does it belong to? Who's the author? You can preview it and you can save. Just take note, you have to click this little dot here and remember to click publish. You just click save, it does not publish automatically. You have to click the dot to publish it. We also have here, so this is where I can see my different pending views, solved tickets, unsolved tickets. And you can manage your ticket views here as well. So I can go, click the three dots, edit it. And you can see I can select many different types of conditions. For example, is the assignee Andy Smith? What's the status? When was last created? It's greater than 24 hours. Priority is high, and I can set this all up accordingly. All right, so next let's go to marketing. So inside here, we have our segments. So this is where you can create your segments. This is where you can create your emails and forms. So in segments, the view has changed. I'm not sure when it changed, but it has changed. So this is where you can see the segment name. I can type in, for example, like keyboards, leads, and this is where you can select the contact. So before it was just a little box here, but now I can go here and I can type in the contact search. For example, Jimmy. You can see Jimmy's here. I can go the screen. I can go select who I want. John, Sam, Kate, Mike, John, Joe, Marie, Rick. And I have to click here. I have consent to send email to these contact sections and save it. So you can see I've created the section. Inside emails is where I can add an email template. So I can put in the email template name. And it's simply just drag and drop. So for example, if I want multiple sections, I can drag it in here. And very simply, I can start going and changing it to how I want. Text images. I can add titles. You can see I'm just dragging and dropping the information based on my requirements and put it all in here. And we have here, of course, is the full screen. I can see what it looks like on tablet. I can see what it looks like on the mobile phone. And most importantly, the footer. This is for your statutory compliance. As you can see here, you can't remove or hide the unsubscribe link. And from the anti-spam laws, you have to show your address. This has come from your company details. Sorry, I accidentally clicked on the X sign. Just 1 second. All right. And in marketing, we have our forms. Yes. So inside here, you can go and create your forms. I can add one. I can say, is it contact? And deals are coming soon. As you can see there. Put in the form name. And then I can just drag and drop. So for example, contact name there. Maybe I want to put in the phone number. So I just drag here. Email address. Maybe organization. Contact type. No, not really contact type. And you can see my custom fields here. So I can create like title. I can maybe select department. What department are you from? And then I can just add custom fields as well. Here if I want to. And I go next. And then I have display message. So this is your display message, or I can redirect to another page. So for example, maybe CNN.com or Fox or whatever you'd like. So I can do that here. I can assign order, sum order, assign team, assign label, and then I can publish it and I can save it. After I save it, I can click here on the 3 dots, and this is where I can copy embedded code. Then I can attach that code to my web page and the form will be there. Next, let's go to campaigns. Inside here, I can add a campaign. And this is Friday campaign, for example. And then you put in the subject. Let's see, what's a good one? Friday campaign. I can select the category. I go next. And then I can choose my segments here. So for example, maybe I want my computer segments. Then I can click, or should I do my monitor leads? Both are good. I select which one, and I click next. Then I can choose my template here based on what I require. I can save and continue. And then I can go here and click next. Put in the sender name. And put in the sender email address. So inside's here, but if I put in a different one, for example, that's not verified, so for example, David.
So exciting.
Oh, yes. I have to verify my mail. Oh, okay.
Maybe we can show.
Okay, so thank you, David, for the CRM demo. I think we can just add campaigns. Saurabh, do you let him finish and then you can interrupt, because let him finish the flow. I think let the flow be finished.
All right, so just here you can save as draft or send. I can also schedule for now or later. So for example, if I want to send it later and I don't want to press that little arrow for all eternity, I can just type it in and set schedule. And now it's scheduled. I can go to campaigns, and inside here I can see who's viewed it and who's not. And I can see when they viewed it, who read it, and how many times they read it. This guy read it 4 times. That's quite good. All right. So that was campaigns. So do you want to go to videos, or do you want me to continue?
Cool. I think, David, I'll just speak for a while.
Okay.
So a few things. We showed integration between CRM and books last time. We had a demo. It's going to be live from this weekend or Monday. So we'll again show a demo of that on Monday webinar. CRM has more features coming in the next few weeks. The biggest thing that we're working in CRM right now is a lot of integrations with Microsoft 365, of course, email and other email providers. So that's one thing that we're working on. So we'll see more connectivity in CRM. On ERP side, we have a list of things we're going to release on Monday next week. We've shown you a few of those things. I will take up some questions now. Saurabh, are you ready to take up questions now? Are you ready, Saurabh, on the other side? Okay, we'll wait for Saurabh to come back, and we'll take up some questions. But essentially, there are some questions on the chat.
So here I am. Thank you.
Cool. Do you want to take some questions now?
Yes, let's go ahead. So
I think let's just start with the top. There are a few questions. This is different from Facebook chat, so it's going to take a little bit of time. How do we start?
maybe I can read out the question. Yeah, so I am looking at the question. So first question is from Shashi about UAE compliance. So UAE compliance, we will take up, yes, definitely, but we have a roadmap also. So we want to make sure that we finish the roadmap. And as we start clearing items from the roadmap, we can take on more stuff. And UAE compliance will definitely be one of those. Then cash accounting, I think you have already addressed. So
Just to clarify once again on cash accounting, just to clarify, it's a difference in reports. Nothing changes on transaction side.
Absolutely.
So cash accounting, nothing changes transaction side. Everyone got a little confused when I made that post. So I thought for a while, should I remove that post? The post that I made doesn't mean you can't do cash accounting using Descara. You can do cash accounting using Descara, except the reports that you see will be different. So as of now, you can do cash accounting using Descara. I'm so surprised. Actually, I'm not surprised, but I'm so sorry about confusing, making confusing posts. We'll make another post next week on cash accounting. I think you can do cash accounting using Descara right now. There's no difference, except we will add cash focused reports, but we will also add a way when you set up your company, we'll also add an option, a way to just do cash accounting. So if you want to do cash accounting and just focus on cash accounting and not do accrual, the thing that we want to make sure is that you can. I want you to switch. I want you to be able to switch between the two. So you should be able to switch between cash accounting and accrual. Drop off a hat, click a button and switch. So we'll add those features as we go along, but none of those features stop you from using this for cash accounting. So big confusing post last week. We'll amend this next week. We'll make a new post next week. I'll make this more clearer. But as of now, you can do cash accounting using Descara. Next question, Saurabh.
Yeah, great. So moving on, there was a question on reporting currency as to how we can change the reporting currency for the organization. The answer is you can't when you have once you have set it, because the reporting currency is tied very closely to all your financial reports. And if you're doing multi-currency transactions, especially, then
that doesn't make a lot of sense now. If you have done a transaction in one currency, then you can't change the transaction. You can't go back in time and change the transaction. So it's not possible even logically. Now, I think the question is not about changing currency. I think the question is to see a report in some other currency, which should be possible. So if you want to see a report in multiple currencies, that should be possible. That should be an option to switch to a new currency, but make sure you understand that the currency value changes. So you'll have to kind of put a currency value to see the report in the currency that you want to see it in. So we'll give you that as an option, but you can't change historical transactions. Once you do those transactions in currency, you can't change those transactions. That goes against the whole idea of accounting.
Yeah. Then there was a question on whether we can have whether we can differentiate contacts or stop duplicate contacts by using email as an identifier. So right now we use the contact ID as the sole identifier. For duplicate emails, I have encountered use cases where people have had like sub companies of a parent company where the accounting actually goes to the same email address, and they want to have like PTE and SD and Bahad, but maybe their accountant sits only in one place for both the companies. And so for two different companies, they have the same accountant and they want to send the email to same company, which is why we have not kept a duplicate check on the email address. The only check is on contact ID, which is the unique identifier. But having said that, we can possibly provide an alert somewhere down the line. So if you're adding a contact with the same email that already exists in your database, the system can prompt you that, hey, this email already exists. Are you sure you want to do this? So that is one way to handle this. But yeah, we definitely don't want to block it, because many times you have a company in Malaysia, in Singapore, in France, in UK, and they all have the same accountant, and the contact email address is the same for them. Then the next question, there is a feature request to fire off a webhook from Pably Connect when receiving payment from customer. And if there is refund to the customer, then also we should do that. Both good suggestions and automation activities that will help you to connect more actions and triggers here. So yes, we are working with Pably. There are a series of webhooks that are already live. More are going to come. CRM webhooks are going to be released as well, so they will also become available in Pably. So yeah, I mean, the idea is that we provide all the possible actions.
When are the CRM webhooks releasing? I've been hearing about it for a few weeks.
CRM webhooks should be out in the very next release.
Very next release. You are very careful with that. Very next week or very next release?
Release.
When is the next release?
Monday.
So it's also very next week.
Yes.
Okay. So you're sure it's going to be releasing next week?
Yes.
Dude, like we have to be very careful. You know, there are people in the group that can lynch you for something like that. By the way, have you noticed you have a face mask, but I and Rob don't have face masks because we are in the confines of our home, and so we can interact without the face mask.
Fully compliant as always.
All right, let's take the next question.
Singapore
Let's
is
take
a
the next
fine
question.
city. Yeah. All right. So yeah, I think there was a discussion. Okay, next question was, is Malaysia tax compliance on the roadmap? We already have Malaysia SST. I mean, if you set up a Malaysia company, you can already start doing your transactions. You will get your SST report. So that's already in. We are adding Malaysia payroll. It should be out by the end of this month. It's already work in progress. Then there was some lively discussion on UI as to, I mean, tabs versus having a single block and whatnot. So did you want me to stop, or
Yeah, no, sorry. I'm just checking my camera. So please go
all right.
ahead.
I thought you wanted me to stop. So
No. I you know what is happening is I have a camera that does autofocus, and I just lose focus. So please go ahead. Please go ahead.
yeah, so automation is not always the best idea. Some things should better be done manually. So
Please go ahead.
okay, yeah. So so we had a lively discussion on UI, and so there is this debate going on, right? That whether we should have multiple tabs versus multiple. I mean, having everything in one form, and I remember, I mean, when we had the previous product, we had everything in one form, and nobody was happy with that because they said, no, it's too long. We have to keep scrolling, and I forget what I had entered on top, and I have to go back on top, and I have to, scroll to bottom. So this time we thought, okay, you know what? Let's try a tabbed version. And tabbed version is not also something that everybody likes. So I guess the lesson is not everybody will be happy with what we have. But yeah, I mean, feedback taken. We will be taking this feedback to keep improving the UX and the UI wherever possible. But we'll stick to our roadmap also. So we can't like make wholesale changes to the UI right away, correct? But yeah, I mean, we will keep improving the UX. And I mean, there are some good suggestions here. Like for example, when I click on save, it should just move me to the next tab, so the user doesn't have to click on the tab. And I completely agree with that. That makes sense. That's the kind of constructive feedback and suggestion, that helps us improve the product. So instead of giving an error message, hey, you have unfilled information here, it should just take me to that tab. And that makes sense. So yeah, that's a good suggestion. And I think we will, I mean, that is something that we can incorporate sooner rather than later. Then we have a question from Vanarit. I think we will go through this in detail as well later when we are doing the leave system. That leave types have to be created. So Vanarit was not able to apply leaves. So Vanilla was able to create leaves, but they were not able to apply leaves. There may be a couple of settings that might have been missed out on. So once a leave is created, they have to be active, they have to be applied to the user, and also user details have to be filled in. For example, date of joining, etc. If those details are not provided, then the user is unable to use the system, because those things determine how much leave balance you have. For example, if I joined yesterday, my leave balance will be very different from somebody who had joined 3 years ago. So that is why some details are required. So I would request you to just share the details with the support team. They will be able to help you with whatever the reason behind not being able to apply leave might be. If there is any missing setting, or some box has not been ticked, but we will help you with that. I was not able to, for some reason, I don't know, but I think Vicky was able to type that later in. But whenever I was trying to type care@deskera.com, YouTube kept giving me a message that you cannot add any link here. No idea why. So anyways, thanks for putting that email address in. And just for everybody, our support email address is care@deskera.com. C as in Charlie, A as in Alpha, R as in Romeo, E as in Echo. care@deskera.com. So any doubts, questions about the product, you're running into any difficulty, please feel free to just drop us an email. Our support team is there to help you. Okay. Next question is
My autofocus is back. Good. Nice.
wonderful. We can see you all bright and shiny now.
Thank you. Thank you.
Then, do I need third-party SMTP services for email marketing feature?
Hey, somebody asked this question. Why are you charging for email deliveries or size if I can add my own SMTP? And I don't think that's true, right? So we are not charging for your SMTP at all. We are only charging if you use our SendGrid, our service, which we use SendGrid for our own backend services. If you send it through us, then we charge for that. If you send it yourself, we don't charge for that. Is that correct, Saurabh?
Absolutely. So if you, yeah, I mean, there are a couple of interesting questions on this topic. So maybe we'll address them. One is the email limit. That will the email limit apply if I use my own SMTP? The answer is no, because hey, you're using your own SMTP. Why would it? For email campaigns right now, we don't have the option to add your own SMTP. We have the option to add your own SMTP to conversations in contacts and deals, and for your help desk. And there is absolutely no limit. The only limit that you encounter is when you're running email campaigns, because that is being run through the Deskera backbone. But once we give the option to have your own SMTP, that limit will cease to exist. So if you are planning to run a campaign using your own SMTP, the limit will not come into play. All
cool.
right.
There's
Another
one more question. Sorry,
sorry,
please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Another question that we have gotten is that why do we have like three multiple places to set SMTP? There is an SMTP in contact and deals, and there is an SMTP for help desk.
Because we have three teams.
Well, there is some. I mean, there are three teams, and there is this saying that the structure of your software shows the org structure as well. But
That's my saying. Hey, that's my saying. It's not us saying, it's our saying.
That is, yeah. So saying hyphen is caught hyphen.
The quality of your software and the quality of your features shows the org structure in your company. Because take any product, take Apple, iPad, any product, you can tell if the teams are talking to each other or not, and you can tell if the CEO is interested in the product or not. But anyway, please finish your argument, and then I'll take up something that Joseph Yanni posted on our Facebook group. So I'll just take that up after you finish, Saurabh.
Yeah. So the reason why we have 3 different places for you to allow to do that is because the conversation with deals and contacts would typically happen through your own email ID. And if you want to connect, right, then you have to give your, I mean, if you're connecting your email, you have to put your email address, your password. When you are setting up your support, you don't want individual email IDs to be added there. You want a common email ID like, care@deskera.com or support@xyz.com. And that will have a different ID, a different password, and a different configuration for all that. So that is separate. And then when you're running a campaign, you will probably run it from offers@deskera.com or marketing@deskera.com or sales at
At
xyz.com.
yourcompany.com. It's not Deskera, it's yourcompany.com.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, I'm just giving example, but yeah, xyz.com.
Yourdomain.com.
Yeah, yourdomain.com. So that is why we have kept it separate, because otherwise, if it is like the same setting everywhere, then your support and your email campaign and everything is going to use the same address, and that can create confusion. So yeah, that was that from me. Shashank, over to you.
Yeah. So one thing that Joseph Yanni, if you're on the vlog, we'll call it vlog, right? Not webinar. If you're on this live, you spoke about webhooks. We are releasing webhooks next week for CRM. We're releasing it early next week. So yes, in theory, you can connect. You can take payments from a customer, fire off a webhook. You can just give me a second. Sorry. You can issue a refund to a customer. You can fire up a webhook to automate that. That's going to happen starting next week. So this is what we have planned. We plan integration with CRM and books. And by the end of next week, we'll probably show you an example of that as well. That's the idea. We're going to use integration between webhooks and Public Connect and webhooks on our own system to show you some examples of how you can connect these. So this is very high on a list of things to do. This is very high on a list of things that we are targeting. And I think one thing that we want is integration between all the applications. So we have webhooks in CRM, we have webhooks in books. We don't have that in people right now. We'll have that in a few weeks. So once all of this is kind of ready, you can pick and choose data. If you were in our last webinar, we showed you reports. That's how you're building reports as well. So reports talk to API and webhooks and gets data over and post it back if there's a need to. So all of this is going to be more easier to do and more feature rich by next week and in the coming weeks and so on. So we'll show this demo next week, webhooks demo, once it's ready to release. We've just done integration between books and CRM. That's going to be released next week as well. Over to you, Saurabh, and maybe you can take up more questions.
Thanks, Shashank. So, okay, so we were at the third-party SMTP service, so that we have answered. Then Fikri is like next Monday of next year, hopefully not. So,
Or next.
all right. And thank you. Okay, so yeah, so Joseph Yanni was on, so just FYI. All right, I think we are at the end of the question list here. We don't have any more questions. I mean, at least I cannot see any more questions here on YouTube. Any other? I mean, if you have questions, please feel free to put it in the live chat, and we'll be more than happy to answer.
Okay, if there are no questions, maybe we'll just have a conversation. And we have like 30, 40 people watching it. Half of those are our team members. So we'll just have a conversation on a few things. What is the roadmap for books? What is the roadmap for CRM in the next 4 weeks? What can we expect from books? What can we expect from CRM? And what can we expect from people in the next 4 weeks?
Yeah, great question. So for book,
Dude, that's like the most common question. That's not a great question. That's like the most common question being asked.
yeah, so great was in quotes. So yeah, so in books, we just, I mean, you saw Australia compliance, a sneak preview of Australia compliance today. We are working on Canada compliance. We are going to release UK compliance as well. So Canada, Australia, UK, all these three you can expect in the next 4 weeks. Hopefully New Zealand, but I won't make a promise right now because three compliances are also, I mean, pretty heavy, but we are going to get there. Then undeposited funds, we saw that better integration with Stripe, especially on recurring invoices. So now you don't have to send the Stripe link manually every time. It will allow you to, have easier way of collecting your payments. Then more integrations. So we already, I mean, we demoed TransferWise last time around. Pably Connect, we will do demo next week. Then Integrately, Integromat, more banks. We are trying to get Yodlee up and running by the end of this month as well in the next 4 weeks. Maybe not for all geographies.
Have you got the commercials done with Audley?
I think they are in the final stages.
Cool. All right, cool. That's encouraging. So please carry on. You have Yardley. We will probably have Integromat and Integrately
Yes.
connections as well. We have Public Connect as well. We have CRM webhooks as well. What we don't have is people webhooks. Is that going to come this month, or we're going to wait for that as well?
Not this month, because we are working on Malaysia compliance. We are working on Australia compliance. We are working on US compliance, and all three are scheduled to be released.
I think you should clarify to our viewers and our users, when you say compliance, what does that mean? What does compliance mean? Somebody was asking this question. What does compliance mean? And if you allow me, I'll take this question because this is a question that I'm just posing for the audience, and I'll take the question as well. There is a bit of disconnect in terms of compliance. Now, compliance basically means, in short, you should be able to perform any business transaction in the country that we are compliant for on any piece of business process that we offer. So let's say we say we have compliance for Malaysia. That means you can do your taxes for Malaysia. You can, issue invoices. You can book revenue. You can close your books. You can do your statutory tax submission for the country, for Malaysia. And then moving on to people, you can run your payroll for Malaysia, and your payroll is compliant with the local taxes and laws and various other things. And then you can use CRM to book, to issue any. Actually, there's nothing in CRM, to be honest.
There's no compliance in CRM actually.
The only thing is probably language. But compliance means, in short, compliant means that you can run Tashkara for the country that it's compliant for, end to end. No excuses, no ifs and buts, no qualifiers. That's what compliant means. Having said that, when we or Saurabh says compliance, he probably means it for a product at a time. So compliant for books means the books would run end to end for the country that we are compliant for. Compliance for people would mean HR is compliant. Compliance as a whole would work only when you have books and people both compliant. So for Australia, we are launching the books compliance, tax compliance next week, but people compliance will take another week to launch. So that is not always synced. That's not always one-on-one. So in our own minds, compliance basically means product. When we build it, it basically means the product that we're working on. So we must clarify that. but in the definition that I have for the developers and everybody in the company and the users, the definition basically means it should work for the country that we are compliant for, end to end. Saurabh.
Yeah, agreed. So I'll try to be more specific when I'm talking about compliance. So yeah, so when I was saying compliance for Malaysia, Australia, and US is in people for calculation of income taxes for EPF, SOXO in Malaysia, for income tax calculation, including federal and state taxes in the US, and for Australia, the taxes, income tax calculation there as well.
Excellent. I just got a message from Ashutosh saying we have APIs for CRM, but we may not have webhooks ready by next week. So just a correction, it's APIs and webhooks will probably take another week to release, but we will have webhooks in the next 2 weeks. That's what he's saying. Without webhooks, you can still use APIs to take data and post data. So that should be possible as well. Back to you, Saurabh, and we have some questions on our channel. So we'll take these questions. We are going to be using YouTube now for our weekly webinars, and the reason being it's easy to access, it's easy to find the video, it's easy to recall, and it's also easy to index for our users. It's easy to find the video again. So we're going to use YouTube more. So please like and subscribe. I love saying that because I've seen this on every channel that I see. They say that, so I wanted to say this as well. Like and subscribe. Coming back to questions, how do you filter contacts in CRM? And then replied by Ashutosh that we'll have a search function released soon. It's in the testing phase. Monday, Sachin's added. So we'll probably have a demo ready for this by next week on Monday for search function.
I can show the demo now.
Let's do that. It's 1:30 a.m. in the morning. So let's do a search function demo.
So yeah, I mean, okay, so going to share my screen. Let me know if you can see it. Can you see my screen?
I can see your screen. Everyone can see your screen, but can you see your screen?
Yeah, so there you go. We have the search function being added here. So if I search this, I mean, this is in QA still, so there might be some bugs, but yeah, if I search, I can search here using the search box.
Thing is not coming. Right.
Huh? Is it? Okay. Yeah, so the search function, yes, and then you have got filters here. Using this filter, you can filter by owner, sub-owner, visibility, label. So let's say I want to filter only hot leads, apply filter. And yeah, so there's nothing, there are no hot leads, unfortunately, that I have. Oh, too bad. So yeah, so
Cool.
you will have filters.
Can I search through tags? Is that possible, like Infusionsoft?
I'm sorry, what?
Can I? Somebody's asking. Can I? Zahir Reef is asking. Can I use a tag system like Infusionsoft? I've not seen Infusionsoft, but I'm just assuming they have that. So do you have a tag system? And the answer to that is yes. There is a tag system. We call it label. We don't call it tag, but we call it label. So you can use tag system, and you can search through tags parently, which Saurabh is unable to show because he doesn't have any data on his screen, but you can, in theory, search through tags. We will probably have this released next week. You'll have a better idea, but there's a tag system. We call it labels, and you can search through labels. So thank you, Saurabh, for showing literally 2 seconds of a demo, and we'll go back to getting.
A picture speaks 1,000 words and videos probably a lot more. So it saved us a blog post, which is not always a good thing because, SEO. But anyways, coming back to.
Yeah, man. Yeah, this is on YouTube, so this is going to be there for eternity. So make sure you know that. But anyway, coming back, I think we're going to move to the next section of this webinar. We have a discussion on affiliates, and we have Rod with us discussing our affiliate platform and the affiliate system. So we will move over to Rod and his screen, and we'll discuss affiliates for the next foreseeable 15 minutes or 10 to 15 minutes and quickly wrap it up with questions after that. So we have affiliate now, and we'll have some questions after that. Over to Rod.
Sure. I have the slides here, and I will share my screen. Okay, there we go. Are you guys seeing the slides?
I can see the slide, and
Good.
I'm sure everyone can see the slide. So let's go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the slide we shared last time. Just a reminder that what are the requirements for being a part of the SCARA Early Adopter League. Obviously, you need a license. You have to have done your review in AppSumo and or Capterra, and you must be active in our Facebook group. Add always constructive criticism, adding value in the comments, in any beneficial way, bearing in mind that, it's a community, and as the SCARA team is there to support you. So this is important, for the next slides, the definition of what is a user. So a user is a paying subscription from Descara, and a deal can either be the early adopter, or if you've become an affiliate, which we are launching the affiliate program officially on Monday, right? During the Monday webinar. So deal members can become affiliates, right? Deal. And this is the slide that will show you, how this program works, what kind of rewards. Affiliate marketing, I'm sure everybody has heard of it, but for those that are not familiar, basically you get a compensation for promoting a product or a service, right? And in this case, promoting Descara to your audience, to your network, to your friends that have their own business. There's a lot of pain in the market. We've seen some reports from members in the group with other tools out there. There is some insatisfaction. So that's always an opportunity to, as a deal member, to mention that people are welcome to try Descara. And hopefully this is not just something that that you do en passant, you just share random links all over the place, but rather you build a relationship with the people you want to bring to Descara. So this can have, this can cater to those that want to have like a random sharing, when there is an opportunity, and people that might refer just a handful of these users. Remember, users is a paying subscription to Descara. So for those people that just want to do that, ad hoc and get a handful of users, we are calling them referrers. So that's the first item there. And the commission there is a flat commission of 10% of the subscriptions you bring in, right? Of the value of the subscriptions. Then for those that are more active and really look at affiliate marketing as an additional income stream, there are 3 tiers where the commission increases. You'll see that under here 2, and you have tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. And basically this will change. This is based on the number of users you bring in, right? So from 11 to 50 users, this is not, sorry, you will see in the next slide that this is not companies. Okay, a small shop might have just 1 user, the owner does everything, right? And then medium-sized companies might have 10 users, and bigger companies will have much more users. So don't look at this number as 11 to 50 companies that you need to bring. This is the number of companies is lower, but for for the way the program is designed, it's based on paying users, paying subscribers you bring to Descara. So From 11 to 50, you have a 20% commission. From 51 to 100, you have 30% commission. And if you're bringing more than 100 users, you have a very juicy, there's a bump there of 50% commission. And I think what's really, a game changer, at least from what I've seen at some of the programs from some of the other companies, is that the commissions here are recurring, right? And we know that this Kara is a kind of service that with especially that it's an all-in-one suite, there really is no need with a user that is understanding the system and you can help them with that, and they're familiar with the different people, sales, CRM. There isn't a need for the person to swap to another system. So this is the turnover is very small, virtually non-existent. So recurring commissions really makes it very attractive. And then Shashank, if I may ask you, because you shared very well about the concept of a power affiliate, maybe you can dive in and talk a little bit about that. Is that okay?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I think you can enter the screen, and some of this is available on the URL. So if you just unshare the screen.
Unshare the screen. Wait, where we
Perfect,
go?
perfect. Thank you, Rod. So once again, I don't want to take a lot of time on this slide. We have a URL in the group. Please click on the URL. You will be able to sign up on the program. You will see all the details on the page when you sign up. You also have to sign up with our Facebook group. So get to a Facebook group, affiliate group, get inside that. We will verify every affiliate that joins. So there'll be a little bit of process there. We'll make sure that you are our affiliate, and then you join that group. And maybe we can have this webinar for affiliates in that group separately in the coming weeks. But the idea is you can find customers, and you can also find affiliates. But to find affiliates, you should first find a few customers. You should not go and set out to build a multi-level marketing system, which we don't encourage. So find more customers. Once you find more customers, you are an evangelist. You are going out and representing the company. You are representing the community. Once you find more users who want to use the system, there is a threshold. When you cross the threshold, when you have those users with you onboarded, then you can find affiliates as well. And we will do a manual process. We'll have a manual process to allow you to do that. Once you find more affiliates, you will get more commissions. Obviously, you can have them sign up more users, and you'd make dollars for every user you bring in. Having said that, the focus of this program is not for you to go and find more affiliates, because that creates a very different set of incentives. We want you to find more users. And the first step, 2 steps here. The first step is to join our Facebook community for affiliates. The second step is find our link on that community and sign up as an affiliate on a website. So once you finish these 2 steps, after you finish these 2 steps, once you sign up on the website, you will get into a platform that we use, which will show you all the links, all the commission structures, and all the incentives you have at your disposal. Go out and get started. We will start affiliate only live Facebook webinar next week. So with that, hopefully, you know the 2 steps. Get to the group, get to the affiliate link, and you're on. The group link is in announcements of our main Discord group. So get the link, get on board, and looking forward to have our first webinar with affiliates only in the group next week. With that, we have one more question that I see. Manoj is asking, what are we doing with India compliance? India payroll is not fully compliant. What are we doing with that? So I think Prakash has answered this question. We are building that India compliance and will be ready by Q1 2021. We had some India compliance in the previous version. We're bringing all of it together. India is a little bit more complex when it comes to HR payroll compliance. There are a lot of local laws and rules. Like there's a ESI. I remember in Maharashtra, there's a professional tax and so on. So you've got to be really careful with all the laws and all the compliances and all the various, local, state, and union statutory um, rules. So it's going to take a little bit of time. India is going to be ready by Q1 of 2021. Hopefully that answers your question. The other question that John 14 has asked is there a way to change invoice text to French, sorry. Good question. We had a French demo available on the website, on the group. We'll probably post it again. We will have a French release with compliance next month. Next month, January. Yeah, next month. We're in December. So next month, yes. Once we have a French release, we will have the French language as well as a default option. Until then, you can use a hack which sort of posted last week. We'll make that post again in the group. Take a look. If that works for you, great. Otherwise, you'll have to wait until the next one to get the French compliance in and the language in with that. Once we have the compliance for a country, we'll also introduce the language patch back with the compliance. So hopefully that answers the question.
Shashank, do you want me to, really briefly show the screen with what the dashboard looks like, the affiliate dashboard?
I think we can take it up in a separate seminar for affiliate.
Okay, sounds
Right?
good. Okay.
I just don't want to take any more time of our people. We've had it for 2 hours. I want to kind of do more focused webinars, 1 hour at max. It takes at least 2 hours to get through the agenda. So we'll do it more organized from the next time. We'll have different sections for different other webinars that we do, like local Indonesian webinar that we've been doing. With that, we'll just take any more questions that we have. Looks like there's no more question. Somebody's asking about custom field search. We will get to custom field search. We don't have it right now in the CRM. So no more questions. We have a question from John 14. We are in Canada, actually, a French being used in Eastern Canada. Oh, if that's the case, then we'll have Canada compliance out in the next few weeks. We have a demo scheduled for Canada compliance once Australian compliance is out. So we have a plan to do it in the next 2 weeks. Once the Canada compliance is out, we will push the French language back with the Canada compliance. That's a very good suggestion. Quebec is basically, French uses French language. So we'll have French as a language. Vicky, you are in Quebec as well. Hello. So we'll use this opportunity to release both the Canadian compliance and have a French version of that. So great for that suggestion. Thank you for reminding us about Quebec. We'll have it out in the next few weeks. Do you plan to have activity integration with Google Calendar? Saurabh, you want to take this?
Yes. So,
Dude, your yes was so, good. Like, do you wake up at 2 a.m., man? Like, you are at the top of your energy right now. I woke up at 9 today and I'm just feeling very down. Yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead and answer that.
so a couple of integrations coming your way in CRM are Microsoft integration and calendar integration. For Microsoft integration, what we are doing is sync your contacts from your Microsoft account into Deskera immediately, so you don't have to transfer them through Excel or anything, etc. And also sync calendars between Microsoft calendar that might be there in Outlook or wherever, and with the activity calendar. We are going to add an iCal option. The iCal option in the activities calendar will allow you to practically add that iCal to any calendar that you may use, including Google Calendar. And you will be able to get the activities that you create into your Google Calendar automatically. We did OAuth connection with Google, which everybody knows did not work out that well for email, but we will try to do that for calendar as well. For a direct one, but even if that is not in place.
How long will that take? So first of all, your face mask is very interesting. Poor man's bane. But how long is it going to take to get this done?
Okay, so Yeah. So the Microsoft integration for this, we should see this. We should see that in the next 2 weeks.
And the Google integration.
The iCal integration we will take that up after that. So we'll finish Microsoft integration first, and then we'll add the iCal in the
The
academic.
next 3 to 4 weeks.
Yes.
And considering Sachin is doing it, so we'll add 1 more week.
Sachin might actually take off 1 week, but
Ah,
no.
okay. Yeah. Sachin has been like what 3 weeks since you took a week off. 2 weeks. It's time, you know, you're exhausted. Yeah, 2 weeks straight without a week off. Um, okay, good. So we have that question answered. There's a question from Joseph Yanni. Do we have another opportunity to purchase more coupons for Dean members? You have, dude, yes, like till Sunday, right? You can buy till Sunday. I announced that, right? So you can absolutely go ahead. Today's 5th, 5th in Singapore, but 4th in US. You have 3 more days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if you're in US, to purchase. Absolutely go ahead and buy. But once this deal is over on AppSumo, I think we'll move to an annual plan from coming Monday. So we'll switch to an annual plan and give you a good price for the annual plan. But I don't think we'll come back on this kind of deal again. Having said that, we'll always have a special. We always have something special for our deal members. So we'll have something coming up for deal members uh, in January. uh, for now, for December, I think we're all set. So you have 2 more days. Rodrigo says 2 more days and 20 hours, 12 minutes. So please hurry and show us your support. With that, there is no other question. Sachin says 1 week or less. That means nothing, but yes. What else can we take right now? Nothing else. So what we're going to do is we will do is that we're going to do we'll probably have a video for most of these questions asked pasted on our group. So we'll cut this out and paste it our demo as well. And we'll come back and do a webinar again on Monday, but we'll do it on YouTube, and we will post our agenda beforehand so which part to get to, and we'll keep it short on Monday as well. With that, thank you so much everyone for joining this, and looking forward. Any last questions? I'm just waiting for any last questions, and looks like there are no last questions. So thank you. Like and subscribe this video and my channel, and we'll see more videos here. Thank you so much for joining, and looking forward to do this again on Monday. Really looking forward to do this again. This is very exciting. So hopefully you'll have a good weekend, and see you next week. Thank you guys. With that, signing off. Saurabh, any last words? Any last comments? And Rod, any last comments? You're mute, Rod.
No, I'm good. Just want to thank everybody for joining, and the team.
What do you have to say about this whole this discussion we had today on customer support and worst service ever? And then we had a fight, and I posted that thread purposely. I could have ignored that, or we could have deleted it, which we don't delete a lot of threads. We don't delete any thread, in fact.
No,
But
we've not deleted anything unless somebody was using like some very bad.
It's pure spam. But the reason I posted that thread today is to preempt this by a mile, because I know this is going to happen more often. And I know this is going to be a very common occurrence as we go along, because I've seen this happen a lot, and especially and unfortunately, especially in this part of the world, India, Southeast Asia, we're very unforgiving with customer service. I've seen very good customer service in the West, like in US, and I see that respect coming through. I mean, they also get pissed at customer support, but it's mostly genuine. Like when I deal with Comcast in US, it was horrible. and it was really painful. I could not cancel my service, they literally said the same thing that you made a meme out of, right? That,
Yeah, I will cancel when I get your death certificate or something like that.
that's, even Singtel in Singapore, I can't cancel a service and, they don't do it over phone. You have to literally go to their shop. Having said that, I was preempting the idea that not everything is worst customer service. I 100% appreciate anyone posting a bad example or a bad experience, an example of a bad experience on our group. So please feel free to post any example that you find is bad, or that we need to learn from, or any experience that you saw or you felt wasn't fair. Please feel free to post. Absolutely not saying no to that. But if we are more careful with our language, so we could be, language is pretty much open to us. It's an arsenal. We could be on any end of the spectrum. We can use abusive words as well. I mean, we can say whatever we want to say, or we could be nice about it. We could say, look, I spoke to your guy and it doesn't seem to be, in one place. So maybe you can improve this. If this was the feedback, I would have taken it nicely. We would have just taken that and moved on. But the gentleman said worst service ever. Now, when somebody makes a thread like that, we have two options. Either we ignore that thread, which is not good, right? You're ignoring something in your group. If that keeps happening again and again, it's going to add more, it's not going to add anything positive. Or we could address that thread, and I address that thread by saying, look, I agree with your idea that we may not have done a good job, but please don't use such words, because when you use such words like worst service ever, we have no incentive. Imagine the guy, the customer support person, answering this question. They have no incentive now because you're calling it worse. So he's saying, okay, they say, all right, we'll just do a bare minimum and we move to the next customer. We don't have to make you happy because we have no stake in this anymore. And that is a vicious cycle. So they say that customers are not happy, customers are worse in terms of how they react to it, and then customer support says, it's a it's a vicious cycle. It's a arms race to the bottom. So we can be appreciative, we can be nice, or we could use words that are more careful. That's all I ask for. Bad service, bring it up. Absolutely bring it up.
People can always present the facts, right? And let the facts speak for themselves regarding whatever issue. There was a delay with a ticket, or something didn't work. Facts are facts, and that's okay. But when you add that layer of human, emotion, unwise with not considering how the other side can react, I think empathy is always welcome. And I know the team, which is what I commented when it came out. I know the team is working hard, virtually around the clock. So that kind of comment really doesn't help. And I'm glad you did what you did. You came in and made that post, and I think that's going to be there. People are going to remember that. But as much as I would not want this to happen again, it's a numbers thing. It's happened to me with my own startup. As you grow,
give the example of your own startup. What happened?
Yeah, no, I had an issue with a CNAME, which CNAME for the person to use their own domain with our own tool. It's content creation tool, and CNAME is a lot of moving parts, right? Especially if the person has Cloudflare, their register, and then even a dot in the wrong place in a DNS record can totally mess everything up. And this person was insisting, and I showed them, look, you have to go back and edit that manually, right? And then he just kind of exploded there and sent me all kinds of words. And so yeah, you guys are gonna you guys have CNAME coming, right? Or working already. So that has always been the biggest pain
I think,
in terms of customer service.
It boils down to individual. And if individuals are understanding, they will understand. If the feature doesn't work, they'll understand and work with you. Like this gentleman was getting angry because we didn't talk to, we don't talk to a bank, State Bank of India, SBI. And I can't get a bank to give you data through us if the bank doesn't allow that. If the bank doesn't talk to the middle where that we work with, we're spending so much money to, to work with Saltage. Saltage, by the way, everyone, in this group, there are not many people now on this chat. Saltage is thousands of dollars every year, thousands of dollars every year. Not, it's probably $1,000 every month. If you add all the costs, it's probably more than a couple of thousand every month. So it's expensive. It's not cheaper, and it charges per transaction. It charges a lot of other things. I don't want to go into the details, but the point is it's expensive, and we've added that. If the bank doesn't work with Saltage, that means that bank has no, they have no technology to integrate, and if they can't, we can't, and we can't. I can't promise things that we can't do, right? So yeah, this was an example of preemption more than anything else. Just want to bring it up to everyone and kind of stand by our support people, because we need to motivate them. Like, this is like what, 2 a.m. and you got to be on chat with your CEO. You can, why would you do that? If the product is not good and the CEO is not good and he doesn't stand by you, why would you do these things? You would take another job. If you're a good person, you would take a job, and that's what happens, right? All the good people will leave, and you'll be left with people who can't get a job, right? So you don't want such a situation. You want people to be excited, people to be talented, and people to work with you, and that only happens when people are treated fairly. So besides everything else, we should be treating people fairly. Calling this worst customer service. Worst would be if customer service called you names and said
Yeah.
something like, "Please go," and I probably not have any more threats like that anymore. I just made a point, and yeah, the person was very upset. With that, and with this closing argument, we have our um, video done. Any last questions? Mohammed Zani is asking, why don't you use Facebook Live? So I'll tell you why we're not using Facebook Live. One of our members today got, and a very, very good member, got banned from the group from posting any comments. And I asked her what happened, and they said, I don't know. Somebody reported us, or somebody reported them, or something went wrong somewhere. I just don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. If tomorrow Facebook decides to shut the group down or shut the video down, I don't want to lose access to all my data. That's one. And the second thing is, a lot of our users are sitting outside Facebook, and a lot of them are using LinkedIn or some other platform, and I just don't want them to feel like they can't access our content, which is very open, without coming to the group or without being part of the group. So I just want to make it more open. So this channel is to get more transparent with users that may not be on Facebook or may not be on our Facebook Live. Personally, I was never on Facebook till about a month ago. So personally, I think YouTube makes more sense to me personally, and it's more flexible. The way they show videos and the way they process videos is much more flexible than Facebook. But having said that, we have ways to broadcast on both channels, so we'll explore those ways. We'll also use something like StreamYard, but yeah, we're just experimenting right now on YouTube.
Yeah, and we can also upload the native video to Facebook. And I know people that have left Facebook. I know people that don't want to use Facebook, but I don't know anybody that doesn't use YouTube. So
Yes,
there you have it, right?
That's true. That's true. We don't know. Yeah, that's actually very true. Very insightful. Everyone uses Facebook, YouTube. There are people that don't use Facebook at all. There are people
Yeah.
that don't use WhatsApp as well. There are people that don't use a chat system, but they use YouTube.
Yep.
Cool. Thank you, guys. Thank you
Okay.
again for this amazing video. And bye bye. See you again next
See
week.
you.